Welcome to Zakopane and the breathtaking Tatra Mountains. This place is stunning, and in this guide I'm going to show you why you should visit, including how to get here, highlights of the mountain town, some great grub to scoff, and some of the best views you're ever going to see. Zakopane is located about 100 kilometers south of Krakow at the very southern tip of Poland on the border with Slovakia. There are frequent trains and buses from Krakow to Zakopane, but at the moment it seems the buses are the fastest and the most recommended way. Buses leave frequently from Krakow's main bus station. We turned up and purchased tickets on the day from one of the ticket windows. It was very easy. However, we visited in autumn and it's likely to be much busier in summer, so if you're travelling at peak times it's probably recommended to book in advance. There seem to be a few different bus companies, but they all seem to offer similar, comfortable, modern coaches that will quickly whisk you on your way to the Polish mountain paradise. The journey takes just over 2 hours, so you could visit Zakopane as a day trip from Krakow, but I really recommend staying in Zakopane for at least 2 to 3 nights to make the most of this brilliant location. I've been lucky enough to go to Zakopane many times in the past, so on this trip I decided to revisit some of my favourite places so I could show them to you all. The bus will arrive at the bus and train station in Zakopane. If you're doing a day trip, then from here you can hop on one of the smaller minibuses that will take you to your mountain destination of choice. Just look out for the signs and you pay the driver as you get on. In this video I'm going to show you a variety of hikes to suit most people, but before that it's worth having a look around the pleasant town itself. According to Wikipedia, the town has a population of about 27,000 people, but it really doesn't feel that big. It has one very long and famous street running through the middle called Krupówki, which is mostly pedestrianised, so makes for a really nice place to stroll around. It is quite touristy and has many shops selling all the souvenirs you could want, as well as many restaurants and bars. Many had live bands playing, which I assume is traditional mountain music. We went in this one here for food, and I found it to be very nice with warm fires and interesting wooden architecture. We had some Zurich soup, which was delicious. It's a mix of rye flour, egg, sausage, herbs, spices, and is a Polish speciality. The main courses we ordered were enormous and very tasty. I struggled to finish all of that, but still we left happy and full, which is all you can ask for. A little further down is the main church of Zakopane. I'm going to put the name on the screen as I don't dare try to pronounce it. The church was built at the end of the 19th century in a neo-Romanesque style and has a very interesting interior. Unfortunately, this time it was undergoing renovation, so the interior was full of scaffolding, so I could only record the high altar. But here is a photo I took a few years ago to show you the rest of the interior, which is bright and colourful and certainly worth having a look around. Continuing further down Krupówki and under the highway, there is a small outdoor market that sells all sorts. Here you can find traditional Polish mountain cheese called ostepek, but you should try it while you are here, as no trip to Zakopane is complete without it. Next to the market is the bottom of Gubałówka, which is kind of a big hill. This is one of the most popular places to visit in Zakopane, and it's the easiest place to get up high and see the mountains, so if you're just here for a day trip or don't have much time, it's ideal. There are 2 ways up. You can walk up, which takes just under an hour. It's moderately steep but shouldn't be a problem for anyone with reasonable fitness, or you can hop on the funicular train and ride to the top. As we had hiked up in the past, we decided to try the train this time. The top is full of touristy shops and rides and is quite tacky and a little run down. It was mostly closed while we were there, but I imagine it gets busy in the summer and is probably a great place for families with children. There's also a nice wooden chapel built in a traditional wooden style, of which we will see a more spectacular version later in this video. However, all that tourist stuff does not detract from the absolutely stunning views of the mountains. There is a great viewing area right next to the funicular station where you can take it all in. There are also some nice bars and restaurants up here. We tried this one. It had a great outdoor seating area and the food was tasty and filling. As we'd taken the train up, we decided to hike down as we had remembered there were some great views from some of the meadows and the slopes near the bottom. Next up is Morski Oko, which is probably the most famous lake in all of Poland. This is also probably the most overrated thing to do in Zakopane, but I'm going to show it to you so you can decide if you want to visit. Getting to the lake and back will take the best part of an entire day, as it's quite some distance from Zakopane. The best way to reach it is by taking one of the mini buses from the main bus station. It takes about 40 minutes, and as this is a really popular destination, it gets very crowded, so I recommend getting up very early. The bus will drop you off in a giant car park. From there you need to pay to enter the Tatrzański National Park. To reach the lake from here, it's a 2-hour hike along a fairly long and not very interesting road. You can also take a horse-drawn carriage, but these are expensive and not much faster. It's not very steep, and for long stretches there is little to see other than trees on either side. There are a few shortcuts through the forest, so keep an eye out for the signs, as this can save you a little time. Overall, it's a long and boring hike, but at least it's easy and it's almost impossible to get lost. There are some nice moments along the way, and it did look great with early morning frost and everything, so it certainly has its good moments. About halfway there is a bridge over a deep river gorge with a nice waterfall. There are also very stinky portable toilets here. Still, if you gotta go, you gotta go. From here you continue along the road to the lake. However, there is another much better hike leading off from here that goes up to another valley with more lakes, which is the green route at the top of this sign. It translates to something like Valley of 5 Polish Lakes. It's a hike we did in the past and requires proper fitness and mountain experience and takes many hours to hike up to the valley with the lakes. So if you have the time and energy, then it's worth it. So here are some photos from that past trip to give you an idea of what it's like. Okay, so continuing on to Morski Oko, it's as simple as following the road. As you get closer, you'll get some nice views of the mountains. And eventually you will reach the lake, which translates to Eye of the Sea. It is a stunning lake. Unfortunately, you will be sharing it with thousands of other people or taking the exact same photo as you. Still, you're here, why not join in? Once you've had a look at the main view, you should follow the path around the lake to escape the crowds, where you can see more lovely views. There is another smaller lake slightly higher up that you can hike up to if you have the energy, but we decided not to this time. There's also a large mountain hut and restaurant here with food and toilets. Although busy, I recommend getting a drink and food and sitting by the lake to soak in the views. After all, you spent all that time getting here, so why not enjoy it? Now, if you want to see an equally stunning lake, then keep watching. The best, and I think also the only cable car in Zakopane, is located in a valley called Gąsienicowa, which is probably about a 1-hour walk from the centre of the town, depending on where you are staying. There are also minibuses that can take you there if you can't be bothered to walk. Here you can find the Kasprowy Wierch cable car. In the past when we visited, there were 2-hour-long queues to get on this thing, so it's definitely recommended to get here very early, especially if visiting in peak times. If you arrive late and don't want to queue, it takes 2 to 3 hours to hike up to the top. However, lucky for us, we arrived very early and didn't need to wait more than 10 minutes. The cable car whisks you up to the peak of Kasprowy Wierch, which is at an altitude of just over 2,000 meters, so it's best to check the weather before you go and make sure you have the correct clothing and gear. As we visited this time in autumn, we made sure to have warm clothes and crampons so we could walk on the compacted ice without slipping all the time. Up here it's a proper mountain, so don't take any risks. Also, it's worth noting there are bears in the Tatrzański National Park, although they generally avoid humans. The cable car top station has a cafe and other amenities. You can walk a few minutes out from the cable car to the ridge and stand on the border posts that mark the border between Poland and Slovakia, which is cool. The views up here are really spectacular. We've been up in all seasons and it's always fantastic. We felt very lucky this time to see the mountains covered in snow, and I spent quite some time recording time lapses. You can check my other video if you want to see those without having to listen to me waffling. Once you've soaked in the majestic views, you can either take the cable car back down or do what we did and hike down. The Tatra National Park is crisscrossed by well-kept paths, and there are useful signs everywhere showing you how long it takes to go to the various places, plus a colour guide to give you an indication of difficulty. In this case, we followed the yellow route down, leading to a name I don't dare pronounce. I'll put it on the screen. Which is a stunning alpine valley with another mountain hut in it. The route down is stepped and easy, but very slippery when covered in snow and ice, so if you visit in similar conditions, make sure you have the correct gear and don't take any risks. As you near the valley, keep your eyes on the signs. This blue route leading to, and again I'm not sure how to pronounce it so I'll print it on the screen, is the way to what is, in my opinion, the most beautiful lake in these mountains. This is a sidetrack and it takes about 30 minutes to reach, so going there and back is going to add a fair amount of time to your hike, so keep in mind that from here it's still a few hours hiking to get back to Zakopane. But the lake is stunning. Every bit as good as Morski Oko, but with considerably less tourists. Honestly, don't miss this place if you have the time, as it's simply breathtaking. After enjoying the lake, you will need to hike back to the valley. There is a mountain hut here that serves warm food and drinks and has toilets if you need them, so it's a good spot to rest up. The hut is in a stunning alpine valley, which is another reason why I love this route. From here you can follow the blue route back to Gąsienicowa, which is the bottom of the cable car. Along the way there are many more stunning views, so take your time and enjoy them. If you do visit Zakopane and want a shorter but more adventurous hike with a little scrambling, then a great choice is the Nosal mountain. This is probably the closest peak to Zakopane, so it's a good choice if you have limited time. From the entrance to the park it takes about 1 hour. Some parts are very steep and require using your hands, so make sure you have proper footwear and don't attempt this unless you are a confident hiker. The Nosal peak is about 1,200 meters, and when you get to the top you will see lots of interesting rock formations which apparently look like a nose, hence the name Nosal. I'm not entirely sure if there is one specific rock that is the nose or if it's all of them. Let me know in the comments what you think. The views up here are again outstanding, especially in autumn when we visited with the beautiful autumn colours. And from here you can either go back down the way you came or follow the path to a lovely mountain valley with another name I'm not going to dare try to pronounce, so I'll put it on the screen. As usual there are lots of signs to follow so you won't get lost. The route down from Nosal has some steep parts that require a little climbing, but it's not too bad. After that the route through the valley is nice and gentle. The valley is another sublime looking alpine gem with huts, meadows and a lovely stream. Once you reach the stream you can follow all the way back to Zakopane. When you reach the exit of the park, make sure you turn right, as just around the corner is a lovely little wooden church. Once again I'm going to put the name on the screen to avoid embarrassing myself by trying to pronounce this. The church was built between 1904 and 1907, so it's not that old, but it is rather wonderful, so definitely worth the short walk to have a look. It's built in the traditional style with stacked wooden logs. It's usually open and free to enter, so make sure you pop inside to admire the simply charming interior. And that's it for my short guide to Zakopane. I hope I've convinced you to visit. Let me know in the comments if you've been and if there are other hikes that people should take. Thanks for watching and cheerio!